Okay, so some technical difficulties. Um, I think some of you are still live on another channel. So I will start over again. Hello, beloveds. It is quite a transformation right now with the new moon coming up. And there's just been a lot of energies shifting, and with the new moon coming up, and there's just been a lot of energies shifting, and everything is trying to bring us online to the destiny or the fate or the soul alignment or the consciousness or awareness that is highest and best for us. So this is almost like jumping on the ladder rungs. And I've also seen images, oftentimes we use the image of a map. And as we're going through ascension or trying to live in our aligned timelines, we're getting redirected as we go on this path, right? It's kind of the end point is where we're being guided to, and that end point is us in our truest alignment, our highest frequency. And this end point, we're constantly going through all of these shifts, and how we get to that point is changing depending on how we're connecting with others and where they are in their alignment, where we are in our alignment with ourselves, how we respond to others when they are in or out of their own alignment. So it's really, really an adventure right now. And I was been guided to come in and check on you guys, and I'm finally getting in and into doing this. And I hope you guys are jumping over okay from the old chat. Let me just let everyone know who was on the old chat to come into this new one. Here we go. All right, so hopefully everybody will kind of stream over here. Yeah, so there's just a lot of shifts, and the dealing with the technology is part of that as well. So hello everybody. Yes, I'm glad that you can see me and hear me now. Good. I'm happy that I can connect with you all now. And so, we'll do a little check-in for light language, but I've also been getting the guidance to, answer any questions, things that are going on. But yes, there's a lot of energy flipping around right now. And like I said earlier in the other video, that the astrologers are definitely saying that, the way the planets are, especially with the new moon, there's just a lot of flippant energy, right? And what we do, sometimes in A Course in Miracles, they'll say, sometimes you're not really being affected by the planets when you're kind of at see what's going on and participate, but you're not so much being jerked around by it, right? And that's kind of what we're working with Akashic Enlightenment here. Is we're trying to stay at our highest frequency and awareness, so that we are just as gracefully as we can follow these paths that are being presented to us, right? And it's like I call it the golden path, and so the golden path will kind of pop up into where we are going and where we are being led. So, I've had a lot of who they really are, right? And so this is all part of the shifting energies, and we're being activated or invited to come into these versions of ourselves with these energy switches that are coming around. So it's a very active time. Again, there is a major eclipse coming on December 25th. And there's another one on, I think it's January 10th of 2020. And 2020 is going to be a very intense year where you would like to be in your best alignment, right? And I think some of the other channelers have talked about, timeline splitting. I mean, there's lots of different terms for all of this. Some call it one big event. I know Bashar has been talking about, the timelines kind of splitting in 2019, right? And so you can see a lot of the major weather things that are occurring, and the government kind of falling apart or trying to reform. And a lot of things that are kind of not seen are being revealed, right? So as we go through this ascension process, all of us are, well, we can't hide anymore. We're coming into this unity consciousness. This is the ultimate place of ascension that we're heading for, right? As you raise your frequency, we eventually all go into this place of being one mind. And when you are one mind, there are no more secrets. There's nothing to be hidden anymore, right? We've stepped out of the ego and kind of playing these games of fooling ourselves who we really are and what's really going on. And we're coming into more of a collective harmony mindset, right? And working together as one. There is no more competition. It's more of being in alignment with, what am I here to do? What am I here to present? How am I helping others? And with that, and how am I staying in that alignment for myself? So you could call this the ascension or the event or enlightenment, right? And it's all in different stages, and everybody's going on their different paths with this, kind of in their own timeline, their own schedule with this. So, I always encourage everybody to please be gentle with yourself and not compare yourselves to, the paths or the rate at which others are going along this path. Whatever you need is going to be presented to you, and the best that you can do is be most aware of what is happening in that moment. So right now, you could say it's a very condensed time, and this is when things can happen really quickly. And that's what I've been seeing for myself, is that I will be aligned with people, and then something will happen, and then boom, all of a sudden I'm on another track because that alignment fell out, and now we're going into this alignment. So it's kind of like you have to be very fluid to just keep going with this. And when you're more fluid, there's less time for a reaction or like an attachment to how things, 1 minute it looks like you're going to be doing this job or living here or with this partner doing this. And then the next minute you're over here and it's going in another direction, right? And so all of this is saying, well, where are you at in terms of being able to follow this higher guidance and be aligned with who you are amidst everything that's shuffling around, right? And the more chaos that there seems to be, it's usually when we're kind of clinging to what is going on rather than seeing where we're going through all of it, right? And it can be difficult. There's a lot of things changing in my life, and I'm sure there's a lot of things changing in other people's lives. Some of it may look good, right? That's what this is all about, moving into our ascended master frequency, right? Coming into that consciousness. So I'm just going to start checking in with you all on the chat here. And, I hope you guys are finding this channel okay, because I know we switched out of the other channel there. Okay, so let's take a look at the chat here. Hello, everybody. Yes, I know some of you, we've done sessions together, so hello. Thank you for joining. Any tips or suggestions as to how to make sense of light language? I find it fascinating but confusing. So light language really is it's source frequency, and depending on what source, what level of frequency you are channeling in source, it's all source, right? But everything is source, right? And so it kind of depends, like what dialect is it coming in? What frequency is it coming in? And so to understand it, you really have to get in tune with yourself. And when you're in alignment with yourself, you're able to then have your other heightened senses, not just the five senses, but your heightened senses, your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, your clairsentience. When those are attuned and you're used to using them, then you're able to see and understand more clearly what frequencies you're connecting with. So when I do the light language transmissions for the channel, they're generally through the Council of Light. But I'll say if the seraphim frequencies come in, or if it's the Elohim, right? And so all of these different frequencies, I'm channeling the angels, that's a certain frequency along the angelic hierarchy, right? There's the angels and the archangels and the archai, and each of them have a different frequency. And the different frequencies allow us to then understand that level of consciousness for ourselves. So part of our own personal growth is really learning to understand those frequencies. And yes, it can be confusing. Part of your growth work, your soul evolution, your consciousness coming online is starting to understand all of these frequencies, because it's showing that you are bringing your mind to a more expansive place, and that you can connect with these different frequencies and understand them. So another way to look at this is like monks that practice, or even like Qigong masters, that practice meditation, or using Qigong to access different levels of consciousness or frequencies, if they're using it for body work, like medical Qigong or healing work, even Reiki, right? All of this is frequencies, and all of this is frequencies that are connected to consciousness, right? And so you're just allowing these chakras, energy points that are connected to your light body, to then open and access these higher frequencies that then are integrated into your physical body, right? I know these are very big concepts. I'm trying to make them very simple because they are quite important, right? And that's what we're all going through right now. And it's an accelerated time right now in October, and then the next 2 months, and as we're continuing. Right. And again, it goes in different levels for everybody. So Karen, I hope that answers your question. And yeah, it really is about engaging in the practice of understanding who you're connecting to, what frequencies you're connecting to. And that's what pretty much all of this is about, right? And so you can use to open up the pillar to more clearly build your upper chakras and clear out the chakras to understand and receive from the different frequencies that are in that pillar. So that pillar is sometimes referred to as the Holy Spirit descending, right? In kind of in Christianity, in Asian history or practices, it's really looking at the energy bodies and the chakras that are connected to those energy bodies, and learning to open them. And they can be seen as like ultimately a lotus, right? There's the different lotuses, and they each have a certain amount of petals. And as you open the petals in each of the chakras, it leads to your higher consciousness, right? And so ultimately, it's all the same work. So you can work with Akashic Enlightenment, or you can I did a lot of the work myself in Shamanic journeying before I got Akashic Enlightenment. So whatever is taking you into deeper states of the mind and letting go of the ego, so that you can go into different states of consciousness, that's your work. That's what going into Ascension and becoming this higher level frequency being is all about. All right. So yeah, very good question. I know light language can be confusing sometimes. It's like, oh my God, I sound like I'm speaking a foreign language. What's happening? Right? Okay, so it's all about frequency. So let's just look at some of these other questions. So true, happened to me this week. Yeah. Okay, and also the light language can come in spontaneously, right? It's God, right? And we're becoming this beacon, this pillar of light that is open to receiving these higher light frequencies, right? And then also when you open up these other frequencies, this is when the extraterrestrials or interdimensional beings that are on those different frequencies then start interacting with us, right? Because they're on that channel. They know that frequency, and they're going, hello, we can talk to you now because you're in this frequency, right? And so this is where a lot of the star seed information comes from. Oh, I'm a star seed, and I connect to the Pleiadians or the Arcturians and all of that. And they all hold different frequencies that are representing part of our soul evolution, what frequencies we're connecting to, how open we are in our chakras and energetic frequencies. So a lot of you may have an influx of that as we go through these accelerated shifting times, right? Which is why we're doing this video. So let's check in here again with the chat. Okay, yes. So yeah. So Lindsay, she had a move planned and then was guided to cancel it. So yeah, there's a lot of flip arounds. Yeah, I was planning to go to Hawaii and do some work out there, and then boom, now I'm being redirected to go over to Europe to do some writing for my book. Right. So I'm working on a second book, and it's like that. It's kind of like, well, where's the channel open to do the work that you need to do, or where your path is going next. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Someone's also saying this week has been incredibly challenging. What's challenging is the loneliness. Yes, it can. So if you're going through phases of loneliness, this is usually, it's appropriate, right? In order for you to kind of go in and connect with those deeper energies, other people are going to be dropping off so that you can have that clarity within yourself. Right. And that means that they're falling out of resonance with the frequencies or the resonances that you are stepping into. Right. So if you feel alone, see it as, oh, I'm shifting. Right. I'm shifting into another frequency. And those that are in this frequency will become available. And you can ask, where do I find those people who are in this frequency that I'm coming into? Okay. Um, or we do groups like this, or there's lots of other groups out there, right? And you'll align with the group that is in the frequency with you. Okay. So Nicole's question, what are the ways to strengthen? I'm just seeing I think you guys are commenting here. That's funny, Karen. So how, again, does one bring forth this awesome pillar of light? Awesome pillar of light. I love that. That's a great term. It is an awesome pillar of light. We are all awesome pillars of light. There's lots of different ways to do this. I was given Akashic Enlightenment to share with all of you. Okay, so Akashic Enlightenment, you open your Akashic Enlightenment and it starts opening up these chakras, right? I call it the tube. Akashic Enlightenment is the tube. And once you have the tube open, then you can jump in the different frequency ranges that you need to align with. So if you don't have a tool, go ahead and get the Akashic Enlightenment book and open up your Akashic Enlightenment, go through the soul alignment practices in there and start working with that. And then, I also do one-on-one trainings as well. And there may be some new stuff coming in too, some new group practices to help you guys with your practicing. But really, it takes practice. That's all this is, right? That's all meditation is. Awesome pillar of light. Yes, we love the awesome pillar of light. Okay, so I'm just going back in the questions here. Any suggestions on how to open ourselves up to speaking it for ourselves? So, Lindsay, so to attune to light language, to speak it for yourself, I do the Akashic Aura light language attunements, and this will basically accelerate you aligning with your light language frequency, right? So if, I've already connected with so many frequencies, I act as an in-between to help you connect with those frequencies. So it's kind of like, a monk that does a lot of meditation, or going to see the Dalai Lama, right? He's meditated and aligned himself so much in this lifetime and other lifetimes that when we come around him, we're like, wow, now I know how to set my frequency to this frequency of peace that he's carrying, right? And so I'm doing that with the Akashic Enlightenment work and the Akashic Aura attunements to help bring in the frequencies, looking at the past lives, the other dimensional lives of your soul resonance that already knows how to connect to these higher source frequencies in a way that you are meant to connect with it. So some people don't speak light language. They write or they draw light language. Sometimes they make tinctures. There's lots of different ways the light language frequency comes through. Sometimes it's like a healing energy that comes through the hands, and it may change over time, right? So it really is depending on how you are building up the frequencies within your spiritual bodies, okay? In Chinese medicine, this could be Qigong, right? You're practicing on the different dantian, the upper dantian, middle, lower, right? This is how you start to build up connecting to the soul energies. And so there are lots of different ways to do this. But if that's what you're wanting to do, Lindsay, then yeah, please contact me and we can arrange the Akashic Aura light language session for you. Okay. So Bella, Bella is asking, what so with the light language? Use it during meditation. I didn't get anything back. What do I do with the light language? So light language, it will come in as you need it. And it has a wisdom of its own, right? And when you speak the light language, the frequencies are shifting you, right? So earlier, was it last night, I was speaking light language to myself, right? Which usually happens before I do something live with you guys. I'm getting attuned to frequencies to share with you. And so, yeah, if you feel called to speak light language, just do it as it's helping you attune your frequencies. It's like you mentally understand it. It's something that you will feel. Oftentimes, you'll feel it most in the heart chakra. You may feel it on the crown of the head or other chakras, depending what frequencies you are connecting to. Okay. Someone's asking, will everyone working 9 to 5s or people who don't know about this but are good people experience all of this? Or, and then they got cut off. Okay. Well, that's the thing is, every soul is here to have whatever experience they signed up for and what they are choosing. If they're choosing from egoic free will, maybe they're playing out a lot of patterns and creating a longer round to kind of get into those higher frequencies. That's fine. That's the path that they are choosing. So when we're in Earth, there will be different frequencies, right? There could be somebody who's on a 9 to 5 schedule and they love it, and maybe they're not tuning into their higher frequencies. But there's a lot of people that I do readings for that are in 9 to 5 schedules and they are very attuned and on high frequencies. So let's take off the label of the 9 to 5 being not enlightened or not in high frequencies or kind of on a different path, because that doesn't matter. There are many light workers that are in the system and they're there to help bring the system into a higher alignment. Okay, so it really just depends on the work that you are doing within the presence of mind that you are bringing to yourself and to everyone that you are connecting with, right? And there is no judgment. God does not judge. Source does not judge. And Akashic Enlightenment is a tool to accelerate your consciousness of staying on your highest path, right? Stepping out of the ego patterns and the fears and the collective numbness, or, what is accepted in society, and, kind of learning to follow that higher range that is within you. Okay, so I hope that answered your question. This paradigm switch up, because I know their question got cut off there. Okay, so we're going on to Jade the Gifted here. Let's see what this question is. Okay, people are kind of commenting. Okay, Lindsay, yeah, great. Glad that answered your question. And yeah, check out the different sessions. Everything's listed on my site. Donna Williams is saying, yeah, system busters. Yeah. So there's a lot of people that are in the system and they're helping to tear down the old ways that it was done to allow these new, lighter, high frequency ways of connecting to come in. Right? It's a very necessary part. And some light workers are completely guided to doing that, right? And they may not look like light workers, right? It depends on where their state of mind is at, that they are able to go around what other people may not feel comfortable going around. Okay, so could light language be spoken in sleep? Yes, I have done that before. I woke myself up speaking light language during a full moon. Yes, so that definitely happens. Yes, yes. It just means that you are getting attuned, you're receiving transmissions, you're connecting while you're in your sleep, right? Again, that's all it is, whether you're doing it during the day or while you're sleeping. To source, it's all the same. Okay, so let's see. I'm sorry, just one bring forward. Okay, so we're looking at what do I do with the light language? I don't receive any. It's been varying. challenging week regarding health. Bella, it sounds like you have some underlying health issues, having biopsies and whatnot. Yeah, so if so here's the thing, and I'll share this with you, is I was actually spiraling into some panic attacks, which is totally unlike me. And that was my cue to get off the path that I was on and jump on the next one. Okay, but it was such a flip, a 180, that I didn't get it at first. But as soon as I got off the path that was heading towards not being productive or not going in the right direction, all the panic and anxiety disappeared. Okay. And so if you're getting a lot of panic and that is out of the ordinary, some people have general anxiety, right? And so you have to know the difference between the two. Okay. So Bella, it could be that, your intuitive guidance system, your emotional system is saying that something is out of alignment, something is out of whack, right? So just ask yourself how you're feeling, what is feeling off. If it's on a physiological level because you have other health concerns, these energies can kind of amplify that, because whatever the underlying issue is that's causing the health stuff, it's being agitated by these energies, right? Because that's the piece that needs to be purged or released or cleared in order for the physical health to come online, right? In shamanic tradition, a lot of illnesses are rooted in the spiritual realm, right? And assuming that you're eating and you're sleeping, right? So in Chinese medicine, we look at first, are you eating and sleeping, right? Because if those things are not being met, then the physical body is going to deteriorate, all right? But then outside of those aspects, you look at the spiritual realm, right? And this could be traumas that happened or fears, patterns that are playing out, right? So all of that. So Bella, it's a really good time to do a check-in with yourself more deeply, so you can open your own Akashic Enlightenment, or you can come in for a session, right? If things seem to be really spiraling out and you can't figure it out, it's a good time to see a healer or somebody that can help you sort that out. Okay. Okay. So moving forward here, I see Bella said something else here. Oh, hey, Amanda. I'm just looking at people that are signing in here. Oh, that's awesome. Amanda came to the Shasta retreat. That was a lot of fun. All right. So there was a Mount Shasta retreat in August. There's a whole video about that on my channel, which is awesome. You should check that out if you haven't seen it. A lot of photo and video of all the beings that connected with us. The language in your dream. Okay, so if there's a feeling of being attacked, I'd call that an ego backlash. So traditionally, if there are other beings or other spirits that feel of a dense or heavy or quote negative density, they're attracted to any fear that's within us that we are aligning with, right? So it's kind of like they're joining the pity party if you're having a lot of fear or a lot of doubts. And that can sometimes flush up when we are bringing in these higher frequencies. So in this dense and accelerated time that October is really charged, November and December will be very active as well. So there may be accelerated frequencies coming in, and this is allowing us to flush up any of these negative patterns or thoughts that we may associate with being evil, right? Going into evil is kind of like, it's more of that duality, right? And we're going towards unity, which is outside of all of that. So when you come from that unified mind, you're seeing things as different frequencies that may be triggering one and then the other, right? And that's just a process of coming to that higher clarity, right? So you bounce between the polarities, and then boom, you're up into the unity, right? Or you're in the unity and you're watching yourself play out some of these polarities within yourself, okay? But again, if it feels overwhelming and like you can't step out of it, good time to ask for a session to help clear some of that, right? Because sometimes it can be overwhelming going through this process, which is why people like me have this lovely job to help you guys. That's why I came here. Okay. Um, Another question here. Karen, in order to work with Akashic records, doesn't one have to be drug and alcohol free? Yes. So, yeah. So great topic. Drugs and alcohol. Yes, you do not want to be using those while you are checking into any of these high frequencies, whether it's Akashic Enlightenment or meditation. You won't be able to raise your frequency, right? So what it is that the drugs and alcohol are a denser frequency. And sometimes even some prescribed medications are a denser frequency, right? And so they're cutting you off from those higher frequencies. And you can feel kind of like dense or held down, right? So let's say you went out and had, I don't know, it's someone's birthday or wedding and you were drinking a lot, and then you try to go home later or even the next day, and it's like impossible for you to enlightenment. It's kind of like you've got lead boots on. You're trying to open up these higher. And if the temple is got a storm going on, it's flooded with another frequency, it's really hard to go into the upper frequencies. Also, some psychics talk about, the drugs and alcohol, it numbs out the clarity, but it can also invite in denser energy. So if you're doing this work, you don't want to be bringing in lower frequencies, right? Because lower frequencies, then you're starting to bring in hitchhikers or other entities or beings of that lower frequency, right? And just because of the work I do, I'm straight edge. I don't do anything. And that was just a process of figuring out that I just didn't feel good whenever I even tried to have a little bit of wine. It doesn't work. Because that spiritual path, you will end up letting go of all of those dependencies. So anything that interferes with the clarity of the mind. So even marijuana, right? I'm often asked about that because that can also, it's a substance putting you into an altered state, right? So again, you're going to have whatever experience you're meant to have, but the substance can alter that depending on like the ritual that's going on around it. So I know a lot of people do ayahuasca, right, as well. And again, sometimes that can be too much for some people, or it accelerates them more than they're ready for, or they don't get very far because they have a lot of purging they have to do before they can open up. So I'm not really a personal fan of substances that can interfere or things that are used to accelerate things. You have to be very aware of what you're doing if you are dabbling in those areas, mixing it with spirituality and consciousness. All right. So I'm going down the list of the questions. Hope that answered your question, Bella. Jade's saying she's asked 6 light workers the same question, and every single one ignores my question. I'm looking at Jade's question. I think that was the one about, light language spoken in sleep. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I'm glad we answered that question for you, Jade. Yeah. Yeah, everyone's on their own path of awakening. So even if they're considered a light worker, maybe they haven't had that experience yet, and that's not an alignment for them to be sharing that knowledge. Their expertise in something else, or they're a different focus in their path right now. Right? Okay. I don't speak light language, but have strong affinity to some that speak it. So Heather, yeah, you'll be drawn to different light language channels, right? So Heather's saying that she doesn't speak it, but she's has affinity to some that do speak it, right? And so that means you're templating off of that frequency, right? Again, it's just you're bathing yourself in the frequencies to get yourself connected to them. And there's lots of different ways to do that, right? Okay. I'm just looking more at the questions here. Do I eat meat? Yes, I do eat meat. It's such a common question. This whole vegan, vegetarian versus meatitarian. Yeah, so in the shamanic tradition, and even in my training, they told us to eat meat. So in shamanic traditions, what meat does is it tonifies the blood and the chi very strongly. And the more that the chi and the blood is tonified, the more that the body is withheld, or it's like it's held together. And the more that the soul then can kind of go in and out or connect to the spiritual realms while being in the body. Right. So if you are a long-term vegetarian or vegan, you may become very ungrounded because there's less blood in the body to house the spirit. Okay. And in Chinese medicine, the heart is what houses the spirit. The liver is what makes the blood and nourishes the blood. Okay. And so if you're not eating animal protein for an extended amount of time and you have a fairly intense lifestyle, which the American lifestyle is, then you may be depleting your body. You may become ungrounded, feel spacey, have insomnia, have skin issues, heart palpitations, anxiety. All of those are signs of a blood deficiency. So yes, I strongly believe in eating animal protein. Of course, everybody's body and what they're going through is different, so I don't like to make too broad of strokes. Okay. Michelle is saying happy birthday to Amanda. Oh, I guess it is Scorpio season, isn't it? Happy birthday, Amanda. All right. All right, so going on down the line here, Karen. I'm not sure what Karen's question is. What's a Kurgan? I don't know what that is. So maybe find the right spelling or tell me what that is. Okay, anyone experiencing bone pain, especially shoulders and hips? So bone pain in Chinese medicine can also be a deficiency or a depletion of blood on a deep level. So if you're vegan or vegetarian, that could be the source. Again, as we go through Ascension and all of these frequencies, whatever underlying physical things we have going on, they can be exasperated by the frequencies. Okay. I'm getting close to doing some light language here and just feeling some third eye connection going on. So we'll do a little bit more and then I'll do a little light language and then we'll stop for the day here. Yeah, anything in Chinese medicine, anything that is pain is usually a stagnation, which is there's not enough blood to circulate, so you need more rest, you need more animal protein. It may have to do with your menstrual cycle. And so you have to nourish the blood so that the blood can circulate, right? And if you exercise too much, then there's not enough chi and blood to nourish the muscles after the exercise, right? So you want to make sure that you're getting enough there. I'm starting to eat meat tomorrow. Thanks. That's my problem. Okay, yeah, excellent. Glad to help. Hey, Michelle. Aligned. Is this a valid concern? I'm not sure what you're asking, Michelle. Being aligned? Yeah, you want to be aligned. That's what all of this is. I'll wait if Michelle has an expansion on that question. Okay, Donna, Clearing can cause pains or message from your body. What aspects are? So yeah, Donna Williams is talking spiritual root, right? So there is something. So let's say you're in a trauma pattern. Trauma burns chi and blood, and so it's draining the chi and blood, right? So the spiritual level is out, then it starts to hit the physical body by burning all the chi and the blood, and finally you get a physical manifestation. Oh, I guess this hurts or this hurts, right? Unless you're like running marathons every day and you're literally doing physical abuse to your body, then it's expected that those parts are going to wear down from excess use, right? Yeah, so that's the levels of physical pain. All right, so yeah, we are pro meat. Okay, everything in moderation. uh, okay, so I'm going to go back to Michelle's question here. The first part of her question is about that, something about alignment. Is getting first aligned. Sorry, Michelle, I can't find. There's too many in the chat here. If you have a question, just write the whole thing again. Okay. Oh, purging. I don't think that's what she was trying to say about if it's purging. That doesn't quite make sense here. Okay. So we're seeing some number synchronicities, 555. Transformation happening. Okay. Okay, so it seems like we're getting all the questions answered here. If we are vibrating higher, the bones are a crystalline structure. Don't they help in the healing process? Could that cause the pain? Okay, so this is like a whole other aspect here. So as you're changing your frequency, the body will change as well, right? So just kind of like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly, there's a reforming that is occurring. So it's going to finally change in the etheric body, right? And so if you're going through any types of those growing pains, again, it's that you need to rest, right? When a caterpillar is becoming a butterfly, it gets to go in a nice cocoon and rest. Our culture doesn't really allow for a lot of that, right? And so, the caterpillar probably won't feel too much pain because they're in that chrysalis, they're going through the process and just allowing it to happen, pretty much sleeping. We don't tend to do that, right? Oftentimes we're trying to do a bunch of other things while we're going through this process, unless we're at a retreat or we're in an accelerated process of helping ourselves go into those higher frequencies. So again, any pain is often, the chi, there's not enough chi and blood to help with that transition, the assimilation of the frequencies to allow the physical body to adjust, right? Something is kind of out of alignment on some level, be it too much energy is being exerted, or there's just maybe too much coming in and enough isn't being given to do that change, right? But yes, ultimately our bodies are becoming a lighter frequency, right? And that's kind of like a whole other topic that we don't really have time for today, but I hope that answered the question on the pain and the higher vibration and all of that. Um, okay, so here's Michelle's question. Okay. I'm gonna skip over some of the eating stuff. Just eat a clean diet, yeah, and follow your inner guidance of what feels like it's resonating with, not so much something that you're craving from a hormonal or other level, right? Just have a balanced diet of plants, animals, grains. Keep it balanced. Are all light language frequencies the same? Could multiple transmissions from others be a problem? I currently only listen to your light language because concerned about conflicting transmissions. Is that a valid concern? Well, ultimately, we're going to be attracted to whatever it is we need. And sometimes we need to attune ourselves, and other times we need to understand that something is out of alignment, which we'll learn pretty quickly if we either listen to somebody else's transmission, receiving a healing session, and it doesn't feel good. That's when we're coming into alignment of knowing, oh, I needed that lesson to understand that I can follow my inner guidance more, or learn to say no if something feels out of alignment. But the light language frequencies, they're not all the same. Okay, the frequencies that come through are going to be dependent on the vessel that's bringing it through. Okay, and I'm going to say that for every type of healing work that anybody's doing. It's all about the vessel that it's coming through, which is again why we're doing Akashic Enlightenment, to clear up the pillar, right? As we clear up the pillar, we're clearing out like false ego attachments, energies, patterns, all of that aren't really us. And when we let go of that, we're allowing ourselves to align with that higher divine frequency. And the more that that's allowed to come in, it's not even about the person so much. It's like, how much can they stand out of the way of what is coming through? All right. And so all light language frequencies aren't the same. There's like the general dialect, but that's like saying humans speak, right? And then humans speak English, right? But think of, somebody could be saying really loving and sweet things to you in English, or they could be completely channeling in all their fears and speaking to you in English about all of their fears, whatever is coming through. Because whatever is coming through is going to be coming through those different chakra filters of frequency. Positive way, because they're like, oh yeah, they're confirming something that I need confirmed, right? And so it gets a little complicated in that sense. So I say always use discernment on who you're connecting with, what you're connecting with, asking why you feel connected, wanting to connect or be drawn to something. Okay, I hope that answered your question, Michelle. So always kind of follow that guidance. And you can listen to a video, and if it doesn't feel good, then stop and then go to one that does feel good, right? To just get into that alignment, to get light language from the Syrian felines like blue ravens. Okay, so I don't tend to use those terms of star family lineage terms. I tend to use more love frequencies. Then there's Christ consciousness frequencies, which come in as a golden solar frequency, and so forth, right? And so if it's coming through a filter of a star family, that's just how that person is relating to that frequency. They're relating to the soul incarnated evolutionary connection, rather than the collective connection. Elohim frequencies, You could say the Arcturians are connecting, to the Elohim frequencies, or the Pleiadians are bringing in those frequencies, right? And so it's like they are kind of ascended beings that have learned to connect to those different levels of frequencies. So if you're connecting to a being, you're connecting to a being that has, or star being that has learned to connect to that frequency, or is representing that overall collective frequency. So I think that explains it. And I know a lot of people have a lot of confusion about that. Different colors can mean different things. I definitely see colors with the different frequencies, but sometimes that's just a marker point for, it's like we have to understand what frequency we're on, right? And so you're on sacred geometry, right? And all of those are just a communication device for us to mentally see. Okay. All right. Am I going to upload this? It's live. It's not when it's trying to come through. So let's just sit here for a minute and get comfortable with all the energies. Right. And let's just really connect in to all these transitions that are going on now as we prepare for this new moon on our paths, aligning with who we truly are, coming into the unity consciousness and the frequency that come with this unity. And there we go. There we go. Okay. Good. So this is a good example of, we're going beyond words. I can talk about all this and answer all the questions, but when we go to the frequencies, we're going to a level that is beyond all of this mental comprehension. And this is where light language and source frequency is. It's a much higher level than our mind comprehends mentally. So we'll just, here we go. So just allowing all these energies to clear up here. Coming to this centered space. Here we go. Oh, that's feeling better. Yeah. Here we go. So we're just seeing a flame being placed above everyone's head who is present now or listening to this in the future. And this flame is connecting you to all that is, the greater ocean of consciousness. Placing this flame above your head, connecting you to this larger unity consciousness. There we go. Good. So you may be feeling the frequencies getting more clear now, a sense of ease, letting go of the mind and the thinking, moving to a space that is calm. Yeah. And as we connect to this clear 0 point, this unity point, this is where we can see clearly where the path is leading, where we've been, where we're seeking clarity on where to go and how to be in alignment with what is in this moment. As this moment is all moments. Here we go. Okay. For ourselves, regardless of what else is going on. And this is what is most important at this time, is stepping into this place of peace, this unity, this love. Kotuare re shikatana re ke otuanya re, hatuare e shikatare koto ane ne eshe, hatiare re shikoto achiare, achiare kotuare e tiare ko osho, hatia ane ne eka tiare koto uani, katuare e shikoto une ikatiane, akatiane ne ekato osho koto oare eshi, kashiara koto uani ikatane ne ekatiare shi,
Atiare kotuanyare katu okotua di itiare. Itiara kotuanya neneshi. Arakotua shiakatare kotu one. One eshi atare eshi kaanyane. Akotu otu ati ikatane. Akati anene ke otuare ekashi atoko. Okotu okotua. Feeling of the Melchizedek frequency. This is a very high, clearing, high frequency. So I'm seeing this ascended being. And there's a color of blue coming in. And this is helping each soul align to their highest timelines. Yeah. Because coming to this place of peace before stepping forward into what you are wanting to step forward into is necessary for this highest alignment. And step kotuare ekatiare ki ishikoto one ekatia eshtokotoane neki ato oshikana rekotoro kotoare etiare koto oshokoto anene eshukoto okotoaniane enuane kata anene eshikata atoro ko oshu kotuare eshi katare koto otoanene eshi Katiara koto shokoto mura kotoane de kia teoro kotoane ne eshi katiare ketiare kotoane ne eshi etuare eshi kotoane ikatiane de katiare eshi katoto koto oadi eshi atuane de eshi kotoane de atukotoane iketiare de kotoane e katiare oatia e kotoane e kata atuane are kotoshi katane ne ekiatia e kutuane e atiara kutuare e katare kutuare e katiara kutu oshu kutuare e shikatane e katiare ashiane e katuare e shi grounding in these new energies, these new frequencies. Katuane e katiare kutoshu kutu oare eshi, these realignments of your truth. Kutuane e kitiare kutu oshu kutu oane e tiare. Atiare kianene, integrating these frequencies, grounding them in, bringing you to this center line of peace and knowing. Connecting to source as you step forward into experiencing what, how can you most fully step into that highest experience that is in line, allowing this knowing to come in for you now. Connecting to this is his era. So he is guiding us with these aligned assignments and alignments. Here we go. Settling these in to our frequency grids. Here we go. You may feel a little disoriented, that's okay. And just allow the transitions to take place. Because as you are realigned into who you truly are, everything else washes away. Here we go. Beautiful. So we're slowly coming back into the presence of who we are now. If you had your eyes closed, you may open them, coming back into the room a little more now. High ascended masters that visited for this. They came in, they brought in a lot of very strong, powerful aligning frequencies, 0 point frequencies, Melchizedek lineage alignments, bringing you to your highest frequencies that you can hold. Melchizedek was that he learned to carry and to show and manifest for humanity. so that they could then have a template for this. So just letting this settle in. Beautiful energy, perfect. So this should really help with bringing clarity to where you are going next, right? And I'm seeing 3-3 on the clock. And from this place, this unity consciousness, this present beingness, the I am presence, the 0 point, and the transmission is kind of coming to a close now. Whew. That was fun. Wow. Yeah, this was beautiful. Yeah. Lots of crown chakra activations. Yeah, so all of you may feel this in different ways, different chakra areas, tingling, emotions, all of that. You may have a sudden clarity. Go with that, okay? Yeah. Yes. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, you guys are definitely feeling this. Oh, love to you all. So much love. Yes. It's beautiful to connect in that unity consciousness connection with all of you. Those of you that are live, and are of you that joined us just now and are now listening to the video as your soul is bringing you here because you already joined us in the transmission. And this is just going to bring that to your present consciousness that you have already connected with this alignment for yourself. Okay. Enlightenment Level 1 webinar. There's an Akashic Enlightenment Level 2 webinar starting in November. So if you've done Level 1 or Level 1 via the recordings that are available online, you can join us for Level 2. And then we'll be starting in November. So I hope you enjoyed this lovely. So you can always listen to this light language recording again if you need to. And I will see you at the new moon, which is, I believe it's on Sunday. So we'll see what comes in then, as well as the day after that as well. So, okay. All right. So much love and light to all of you. And I wish you well on your path. Much love, many blessings. And I will say bye for now and enjoy your journey. And if you need a personal session, go ahead and contact me for that. So love to you all. And then I'll see you next time. Bye.